We come now to the fallacy of false cause. We're familiar with causal arguments from Unit 4, where we studied induction. Causal arguments posit a relationship between two events, such that one is either the necessary or sufficient condition for the occurrence of the other. Many causal arguments are inductively strong, such as those that occur in the sciences, but those that aren't are considered to be fallacious. They commit the fallacy of false cause. There are two ways that the fallacy of false cause can occur. First, there is no causal relationship whatsoever. Second, the cause may be mistakenly identified as sufficient by itself to produce the result when, at best, it's just a contributory cause. Allow me to digress somewhat on the history of the philosophy of science. Since scientists are very much concerned with what causes what, it became very important for serious thinkers to establish the exact nature of causation. David Hume, one of the greatest thinkers of the 18th century, tried very hard to put into words what we mean by cause. Here's what he wrote. Thus we remember to have seen the species of object we call flame, and to have felt that species of sensation we call heat. We likewise call to mind their constant conjunction in all past instances. Without any further ceremony, we call the one cause and the other effect, and we infer the existence of the one from that of the other. In other words, every time we see a flame, we infer that it is causing the heat we feel when we approach it. Well, that makes sense. But Hume also knew that the cockle-doodle-doo of the rooster occurred in constant conjunction with the rise of the sun. But the rooster doesn't cause the sun to rise. Yet, what's the difference between this kind of constant conjunction and the constant conjunction of flame and heat? When is constant conjunction causal, and when isn't it? To take another example, we know that a falling barometer stands in constant conjunction to impending precipitation, but we also know that the barometric reading doesn't cause it to rain. But how do we know this? Hume proposed an ingenious solution. Causation is the product of human observation. It's nothing more than a habit of the mind, and not something that we can objectively demonstrate. But here's what's important. The correlation of two events, such as the crowing of the rooster and the rise of the sun, does not imply causation. Consequently, we can never establish the necessity of a causal relationship. That is, causation is never something that can be deductively ascertained. Correlation does not imply or entail causation. What does this tell us? First, it suggests that causality lies in the realm of induction, and second, that we need to be very careful when we assert that a causal relationship exists between two events. So correlation does not imply causation. But even though correlation does not imply causation, we often inductively infer causation from scientific trials where correlative events are carefully observed. For example, the correlation of smoking and cancer has established beyond a reasonable doubt that smoking is very, very probably a cause of lung cancers. In fact, smokers are 90% more likely to die of lung cancer than non-smokers. Nonetheless, smoking is neither a necessary nor a sufficient cause. If it were necessary, then we'd have to smoke in order to get lung cancer. And if it were sufficient, then if we smoked, we'd always get lung cancer. And neither of these is the case. So, smoking appears to be causally related to cancer, but smoking can't be said to necessitate cancer.